Do you know who I am?
No, I don't. No, ma'am. You've never been to jail?
On July 22nd, things went left for GloRilla when she suddenly found herself on the wrong side of the law after getting arrested for felony marijuana possession inside her own home. Now fresh jail footage just dropped and people can't stop talking, but not for the reasons you might expect. Here's the wild part. Police weren't even looking for her in the first place. That's what makes this whole situation feel upside down. Let's break it all the way down, because this story is raising serious eyebrows across hip-hop. Footage of GloRilla in jail hit the internet and instantly went viral. Some people were distracted, hyping up her mugshot, but the real story behind that July 2025 arrest has the culture heated and asking big questions about how things really work behind the scenes. So here's how it started, and this is where things already get messy. It's July 20th, 2025, around 1:30 in the morning, and 3 suspects break into GloRilla's home in Forsyth County, inside the St. Marlowe subdivision. But here's the twist that got everyone talking. Glo wasn't even there. She was out in Indianapolis, performing at the WNBA All-Star Game halftime show, bringing major Memphis energy and turning up the whole arena, while players like Angel Reese were vibing courtside. Meanwhile, back at her house, things escalated fast. A family member inside the home fired shots just to scare the intruders off, and the suspects ran off with jewelry. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, which is important. But what happened next is where everything starts to feel completely backwards. When police showed up to investigate the break-in, they claimed they smelled marijuana and used that to get a search warrant.
JT and GloRilla got into a fight or some sort of tussle backstage at the 2023 VMAs this year. Yes, girl. The girls were fighting at the VMAs backstage. We all thought it was going to be Nicki, Cardi, and Meg, and really it was GloRilla and JT duking it out backstage.
Instead of locking in on the people who actually broke into the house, they started searching the victim's space. That search led them to what they called a significant amount of marijuana, over 1 ounce, found in her bedroom closet, along with a Schedule 1 substance. Just like that, the focus shifted away from the burglary and straight onto Glo. 2 days later, on July 22nd, GloRilla turned herself in voluntarily at Forsyth County Jail. She was hit with felony marijuana possession and possession of a Schedule 1 substance, posted a $22,260 bond, and was released the same day. But the real issue here isn't just the charges. It's the fact that someone whose home got invaded ended up being the only person arrested while the suspects are still out there. Glo didn't stay quiet either. She jumped on X and broke everything down in a way that had the internet going crazy. She said, "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focused on some cannabis." She made it crystal clear with her breakdown. "So no, I wasn't busted. My house got robbed. I wasn't home long. Story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested." That post exploded. Over 60,000 likes and thousands of reposts in no time. Fans everywhere were confused, frustrated, and honestly angry. The reaction was loud because to many people, this looked like priorities completely flipped upside down. Her legal team stepped in and didn't hold back either. Attorneys Drew Findling and Marissa Goldberg called the situation a disturbing example of misplaced law enforcement priorities. They pointed out that energy should have gone into finding the people who committed the break-in, not searching for cannabis. And the timing made it even crazier. Glo was out working, performing on a major stage, representing her city, while all this was happening back home. Somehow she ends up in cuffs while the people who caused the situation disappear. Social media lit up instantly. One post summed it up perfectly. "So you mean to tell me GloRilla house got broken into, and instead of looking for the home, invaders? They issue a search warrant, then arrest Glo over weed when she wasn't even at the home is crazy work." Another viral post said, GloRilla's home was burglarized by 3 suspects. When she wasn't home, then when the police came, they found weed. She was literally the victim of a crime. Yet she was arrested. That one alone pulled nearly 20,000 likes. People weren't just defending her, they were calling out a bigger issue. Comments started pointing at how situations like this feel targeted, especially when it comes to black artists and women in the spotlight. At the same time, the internet did what it always does, mixed humor into the chaos. Memes started popping up with people saying things like, "Did I read that right? Somebody burglarized GloRilla house but saw some weed and arrested her for it, and she wasn't even home, huh?" It was funny, but also made the situation look even more ridiculous. Now, when you zoom out, this situation hits differently because it's not her first run-in with law enforcement in Georgia. This marks her second arrest in that state within about 15 months. And both situations involved drugs in some way. Back in April 2024, she got pulled over in Gwinnett County for making an illegal U-turn at a red light. But that stop turned into something way bigger than expected. The body cam footage went viral because of how everything played out. Glo's personality was on full display. Some people laughed, others cringed, but everyone was watching. One moment that stuck with people was when she said, "Ma'am, do you know who I am?" And the officer replied, "No, I don't." That exchange instantly became meme material. Throughout the stop, she insisted she was fine to drive, even though officers said they smelled alcohol and marijuana. The footage showed her struggling through sobriety tests while still standing her ground. That case eventually wrapped up without jail time, but it added to a pattern that has fans paying attention, especially since both situations happened in Georgia, where laws are stricter than in many other places. Then there were those wild rumors back in 2023 claiming she did 3 years in prison for stealing cereal from Kmart. Sounds crazy, right? Because it was. That whole story came from a comedy interview with Funny Marco, where they were joking around, but people online took it seriously and ran with it like it was real. By April 2023, it got so out of control that Glo had to shut it down herself. She posted, "You had really sat y'all up there and believed I went to jail for 3 years for stealing cereal? And that's what's wrong with y'all today, 'cause y'all believe whatever somebody tell you." She was clearly irritated, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Having to fight fake stories while dealing with real-life issues just adds extra pressure. And beyond legal drama, Glo has dealt with all kinds of controversy, from lyrics getting criticized to debates about her appearance. Everything she does gets picked apart. One moment involved backlash over language in a song preview, which led her to revise it after fans spoke up. That shows she's paying attention even under pressure. There were also debates about her looks when old videos resurfaced, but she brushed that off and stayed confident in herself. Even her success sparked debate. When she won the Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel/Inspirational Award at the 2025 BET Awards for Rain Down on Me, some traditional gospel fans were not feeling it at all. Singer Dietrich Haddon even spoke out, calling it disappointing and pushing for changes in gospel music standards. That turned into a whole conversation about genre lines and who gets to be included. Looking at everything together, it's clear GloRilla has had to build tough skin fast. Between rumors, real charges, criticism, and constant attention, she's been navigating pressure from every direction. And then there's the drama with JT from City Girls, which took things to another level completely. This feud had everything: rumors, social media shots, tension, and non-stop back and forth. It all started with gossip in October 2023, when a podcast claimed Glo approached JT at the MTV VMAs and got brushed off. There were even claims about a physical altercation, like Glo allegedly slapped JT, but no proof ever surfaced. Still, that didn't stop the internet from running wild with it. Because once a story like that hits social media, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, it becomes part of the narrative instantly. Fans picked sides, theories started flying, and both artists kept getting dragged into questions about the situation. Things stayed quiet for a while until April 2024. That's when Glo dropped a mixtape and addressed it on a track saying, "Me and JT, ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing. She was trying to clear things up, but JT didn't see it that way. JT felt like it was messy and unnecessary, especially with how it connected to other lyrics and past references. When fans started asking questions again, everything exploded. JT jumped online and went off, turning the situation into a full-blown drama that had everybody watching closely. JT shut the rumors down fast, and she posted, "She never slapped me, ever, never. Like, find somebody else to play with," making it clear she wasn't letting that story slide. But she didn't stop there. She took it way further and started going at GloRilla directly. She called Glo sneaky, messy, and fake, even accusing her of switching up on her own people. JT claimed Glo came into the game already moving funny, saying she was ready to switch on your homies, and tied it back to issues around the FNF remix that allegedly caused tension behind the scenes. Then things got real personal, real fast. JT started throwing harsh insults about Glo's looks and background, saying, "Ugly shouldn't leave your mouth ever. You look like you were born feet first." That line had people shocked at how far it went. She even posted a cryptic image referencing mugshots with an open spot, hinting she was ready for something physical if it came to that. The energy was intense, and everybody watching knew this wasn't just music talk anymore. GloRilla wasn't about to stay quiet either. She clapped back with her own now-deleted tweets, telling JT to shut your dumbass up and fix them ugly wigs, and accusing her of secretly having issues the whole time. When JT tried to clean up the slap rumor conversation, Glo mocked her response, basically saying she only mentioned her name to clear the air. The tension kept rising, tweet after tweet, with no signs of slowing down. At one point, Glo even hinted at pulling up to JT's shows, while also taking shots about JT's past, saying her mugshots were about stealing, not fighting. Both sides were calling each other fake, scary, and corny, and fans were glued to every second of it. What made this whole situation extra messy was how it fed into a bigger pattern in female rap. People are used to seeing women in hip-hop get compared or pushed into conflict, and this situation just added more fuel to that narrative, even if it started from rumors. The wild part, the entire blow-up only lasted about a day online, but even in that short time, it left a lasting impression on fans and how both artists were viewed. Later on, during a red carpet interview, Glo kept it simple when asked about everything, brushing it off without adding more drama. That move helped cool things down a bit. After some time passed, Glo made it clear things weren't as bad as they looked. She said, "Me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing," hinting that they reached some kind of understanding behind the scenes. JT never publicly pushed back on that, and since then, there haven't been any new shots between them. So it looks like both sides quietly agreed to move on. Still, fans had mixed reactions. Some felt the whole situation was unnecessary and took attention away from their music, while others debated who was really at fault. Some blamed Glo for even mentioning JT in her lyrics, while others thought JT overreacted to something that wasn't meant to be disrespectful. Either way, it showed how quickly things can spiral when the internet gets involved. But that wasn't even the most sensitive situation Glo found herself in. Things got even more complicated when a moment on social media almost damaged one of her closest friendships. In May 2025, GloRilla ended up in a serious situation involving Megan, Thee Stallion, and it all started from a simple Instagram story that didn't seem like a big deal at first. The post included an inspirational message, but in the background, a song by Tory Lanez was playing. That detail changed everything, especially considering Tory was convicted in 2022 for shooting Megan. Given that history, fans immediately saw the post as a problem. The timing made it worse too, because Megan had recently spoken out about ongoing harassment connected to that situation. So when people saw Glo, who's worked closely with Megan, posting anything tied to Tory, it didn't sit right at all. The reaction came fast. Within hours, fans noticed Megan had unfollowed Glo on Instagram and removed or archived posts they had together, including a birthday message. That move shocked a lot of people because they seemed genuinely close, both as friends and collaborators. Glo quickly deleted the story, but screenshots were already everywhere. Social media lit up with debates about whether their friendship was over. Megan's fan base, known as the Hotties, came in strong. They accused Glo of being disloyal, pointing out how Megan had supported her career through big collaborations and tour opportunities. Posts calling Glo out were getting thousands of likes, with people saying it felt like a betrayal, given everything Megan had done for her. Glo didn't wait long to respond. The next day, she addressed it on her Instagram story, calling it an innocent repost and saying she didn't realize what song was playing at the time. She wrote, "Innocent reposts, I don't do mess," making it clear she wasn't trying to throw shade at Megan. She followed up by saying, "I didn't know what song was playing in the background until everybody said something. I deleted it as soon as I seen the comments," trying to explain the situation fully. On top of that, she refollowed Megan and reposted their content together, showing she wanted to fix things quickly. Some people understood her explanation, saying it's possible to miss details like that with so much content online. But others weren't convinced at all. Critics questioned how you could post something without knowing the song, especially when it involved someone tied to your friend's trauma. Megan didn't speak publicly about it, which many saw as the smartest move. Instead, her actions, unfollowing and then following back, said that everything without adding more fuel to the situation. Reports later suggested the unfollow was more of an emotional reaction than a permanent break, and that they talked things out privately. By July 2025, things seemed back to normal on the surface. They were following each other again, and there were no signs of ongoing issues. Still, the situation showed how complicated friendships can get when everything plays out in public. One small moment can turn into a major headline instantly. For Glo, it was a reminder that every post matters when you're in the spotlight. Context is everything, and people are always watching closely. All these moments, beefs, misunderstandings, and backlash have shaped how she moves in the industry today. She's learned to address issues head on instead of letting them grow behind the scenes. Now shifting away from the drama, her actual journey to success tells a completely different story, and it's just as intense in its own way. GloRilla, born Gloria, Hallelujah. Woods on July 28, 1999, came from humble beginnings that still influence her style and mindset today. Her story started in church, where she sang in the choir and built the voice and confidence that would later stand out on stage. At 16, everything changed when she lost her singing voice due to illness. Instead of giving up, she pivoted into rap, and that decision ended up shaping her entire future. That moment showed early on how resilient she is. She took a setback and turned it into a whole new path, bringing that same energy into her music. She started grinding in Memphis's underground scene, dropping her first mixtape, Most Likely Up Next, in 2019, followed by her EPP status in 2020. Those early projects helped her build a local buzz and sharpen her sound, but the real breakthrough came in April 2022. That's when she dropped FNF, Let's Go, with Hit Kid, and everything changed overnight. The track went viral, became an anthem, and pushed her into the national spotlight fast. Soon after, she signed with Yo Gotti's CMG label in July 2022, giving her the platform and support to level up even more. From there, the momentum didn't slow down. In 2023, she landed a spot on the XXL freshman list, locking in her place as one of the hottest rising artists. Her EP, Anyways, Life's Great, hit number 11 on the Billboard 200, proving she wasn't just a viral moment, she had real staying power. Then came the big collaborations. Tomorrow 2 with Cardi B cracked the top 10 and went double platinum, while Wanna Be with Megan Thee Stallion became a summer favorite. These weren't just hits, they were moments that showed she could stand next to major names and still shine. Her debut album, Glorious, released in October 2024, took things even higher. It reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 and had one of the biggest first-week sales for a female rapper that year. The project blended her Memphis roots with mainstream appeal, showing growth while staying true to her style. She kept pushing boundaries with tracks like Typa and Rain Down on Me, the latter featuring gospel influences alongside Kirk Franklin and Maverick City Music. That song even won her the Dr. Bobby Jones Best Gospel/Inspirational Award at the 2025 BET Awards. Though that win sparked debate too. Still, one thing nobody questions is her performance energy. Her live shows are known for being high energy and unforgettable. Her WNBA All-Star halftime performance in 2025 had the whole arena lit, with players dancing and the crowd fully locked in. That same energy carried into her glorious tour, which ran from March through July 2025, showing she can headline shows and draw crowds across the country. From church choir beginnings to major stages, GloRilla's path shows how far determination can take you, even when the spotlight comes with non-stop pressure. Even with the few rough moments, GloRilla's tour still proved one big thing. She's becoming a real headliner with serious stage power. One show in St. Louis had to end early because multiple fights broke out in the crowd. But outside of that chaos, the tour showed how much she's grown as a performer. She's not just popping up for a hit song anymore. She's commanding full arenas and keeping fans locked in from start to finish. The awards kept coming too, and 2025 has been huge for her. In March, she won Hip Hop Artist of the Year at the iHeartRadio Music Awards and used her speech to speak directly to the doubters while celebrating how far she's come. Then in April, she picked up the Powerhouse Award at Billboard Women in Music, which only added to the message that her impact on the culture is getting harder and harder to ignore. At the same time, her personal life has become a bigger part of how fans see her, especially because she's been so open about it. One of the most talked about parts of her journey has been her decision to stay celibate, and she's managed to discuss it in a way that feels honest, funny, and very real. Back in November 2024, she said she was single and celibate until God sent me my husband, turning what started as a short challenge into something much deeper and more faith-centered. That choice got a lot of attention because it wasn't framed like a stunt. It sounded like a real commitment tied to growth, discipline, and wanting something meaningful. Her celibacy journey actually started in January 2024 with a 90-day challenge she talked about online with her usual humor. On day 9, she tweeted, "Started my 90-day celibacy little challenge for New Year's or whatever. I'm on the 9th day and my vision blurry AF. Send help." And fans instantly connected with how open and playful she was, being about the struggle. By day 30, she was still joking through it, posting, "Listen, I reached day 30 of my celibacy and everybody on here posting all these positions is none but the devil. Get thee behind me, Satan." That kind of honesty made people laugh, but it also made her feel more relatable because she wasn't pretending the journey was easy. What really stood out was that she didn't stop after the challenge ended. She made it clear she wasn't seeing anybody, not dating, not linking, not talking, nothing, until God sends her the right husband. That gave the whole thing a deeper meaning and showed that for her, this wasn't just about avoiding drama, it was about protecting her peace and staying aligned with her faith. In February 2025, she expanded that mindset into a full wellness challenge. She talked about cutting out sex, avoiding alcohol, and working out at least 3 times a week, showing fans that self-improvement for her wasn't just one thing, it was a full reset. That move got a strong reaction online, and most of it was positive. Fans praised her for being transparent and said her discipline inspired them to work on their own habits too. People appreciated that she talked about both the hard parts and the benefits instead of acting like personal growth always looks perfect. Her love life has still sparked rumors, of course, because that comes with fame. She's been linked to names like Drake in 2022 and Damian Lillard in 2024. But those rumors were denied and described as friendships, not relationships. More recently, people started buzzing about Speedy Mormon after a flirty interview, but again, Nothing solid has ever confirmed anything serious. What does seem clear is that Glo has used being single to stay focused. Her celibacy choice doesn't just sound like it's about romance, it sounds like it's also about protecting her energy, avoiding distractions, and not letting fame throw her off track for a young artist moving. This fast, that kind of focus can make all the difference. There's also been chatter about her family connections in music. She says she's related to Cardi B and Lil Uzi Vert, though that hasn't been confirmed beyond her own comments. Still, whether those ties are official or not, it shows how she sees hip-hop as a world built on relationships, influence, and shared roots. And even with legal issues and public controversy hanging around her name in 2025, she hasn't let that stop her momentum. After the July 2025 arrest made headlines, she still went ahead with her Glo Bash concert in Memphis on July 25th as planned. That says a lot about her work ethic and her ability to keep moving even when pressure is coming from all directions. This is somebody who started in church choirs, turned pain into ambition, built a name through raw personality, and stayed standing through criticism, internet drama, legal trouble, and non-stop public attention. She's had to take hits, learn lessons, and keep evolving in front of everybody. And that takes real toughness. GloRilla's story is still being written, but one thing is already obvious. She's built her brand on authenticity, energy, and resilience. And that's why people keep watching. Whether it's the music, the controversy, the wins, or the setbacks, she keeps giving people something to talk about. So what do you think about GloRilla's journey, her comeback energy, and everything surrounding this latest chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share for more updates on the biggest stories, wildest moments, and hottest drama in hip-hop right now.